Thank you. Good afternoon, Chairman, Vice Chairman, all the panel members. I'm here. My name is Robert Elijah. I'm a power rail mechanic for the PATH train, Port Authority Trans Hudson. I'm a member of the IBEW, International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. We're at an impasse with the contract negotiations with Mr. Dellaverson. Everything that he's put in front of us is total garbage, and there's no way whatsoever that we could ever even think about signing anything that he's put in front of us. Now, I sat here and I watched your compassion, Mr. O'Toole, and I have to commend you for that, for you having the moment of silence for the individual that passed away, and I'm just let me know that you have compassion. I watched the video that you just showed, and everything you said was beautiful. You look beautiful. I mean, it was like, I said, wow, that's really nice, but Mr. O'Toole, it means nothing. 9 years, Mr. O'Toole, we've been without a raise for 9 years. 9 years we have kept those trains running. 9 years, Mr. O'Toole, with no raise, no contract, no nothing. Every encounter that the PATH train went through within those 9 years, we took care of. We kept those trains running. We're the guys on the ground, like I said the last time. We keep those trains running. Those passengers, everything all the accolades that you just had and have pat your colleagues on the back. We never got a pat on the back. You understand? We keep these trains running. All we asking you for, Mr. O'Toole, is to step in. Dellaverson gotta go. Step in, offer us a fair contract. We love PATH. We love our jobs. I told you before, we don't want to fight. But you backing us up against the wall. Our backs is against the wall. 9 years. Has anyone on this panel been without a raise for 9 years? For 9 years. Before we were employees, we're men. Men with families. We're men with families, just like you. We have families. And we still work. For 9 years, we work without a raise whatsoever. Anything that happened to the PATH train, we took care of. Later for the raise. We still working, and we working on it. We just looking for fairness. Fairness, Mr. O'Toole, you got the power. You got the power. You can make this thing happen. You got to get rid of Dellaverson, though. He's like, how are you going to offer us this stuff? You understand? How are you going to offer us a raise that's taken away by us having to pay for our benefits? We know that eventually we got to pay for our benefits, but give us a raise comparable enough to be able to do that. Give us something fair. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Robert. And Robert, even though you said some things that I can agree with in the earlier part of your conversation, listen, we have tried really hard. We came in 2.5 years ago. There was 23 contracts that were long overdue. And Rick and I and this board made a commitment to get them resolved. And over the last few years, you heard from your colleague, Stephen Brophy, talk about the amazing progress. So, Michael, of the 23 contracts, how many have we resolved, and what percentage of the workforce has been now under contract?
It's all of the people in the Port Authority side who are unionized employees, and with today's ratification, if the board indeed ratifies it, it'll be a large percentage of the PATH employees as well.
So we've made, I'm just as a courtesy, because you said some wonderful things about a certain commissioner, you deserve our respect. You work really hard. We are committed to resolving the remaining contracts. You have our word on that. And we are engaged in that process. We had a meeting about it today. Hold out hope, work together with us, and we're going to get there. Okay? Thank you. Alexander Jones.
Good afternoon. I'm here to talk about PATH's workers. We've been out of contract for nearly 9 years. This is the longest any union at a passenger railroad has been out of contract in American history. We recently received a letter from Gary Dellaverson. The letter blamed us for the current impasse in our negotiations and stated that our future medical benefits are going to be prorated and penalized until the contract is settled. Is this part of a good faith effort to resolve the contract dispute, or is it a vindictive threat? Is the Port Authority refusing to settle the contract because of our bargaining terms are unreasonable? No. We're asking for the same terms we got in the last contract a decade ago. Is the Port Authority out of money and can't afford to treat its workers better? No. We're redesigning the pass system to accommodate longer trains for more riders, and earlier today, your presentation said that PATH has broken ridership records. You need and will continue to need qualified, engaged, and happy workers to maintain this level of success. The Port Authority has a roughly $7 billion operating budget, but you're demanding we give up a paid holiday. The Port Authority is spending close to $3 billion to replace Terminal A in Newark Airport, but you want us, the workers, to agree to a salary cap. The Port Authority spent at least $2 billion to fix the Pulaski Skyway, but you want us to pay into our health care. The Port Authority spent $250 million on the Harrison Station upgrade, but you want us to pay for more prescription drugs. The Port Authority has spent untold millions to install automatic train control to make rides more efficient, but you want to make it more difficult for us to see the doctor of our choice. The Port Authority spent $4 billion on the Oculus at World Trade Center, but you want us to sacrifice a cost of living increase. Clearly, the Port Authority has money to spend when it wants to. It's just a question of priorities. The Port Authority is not prioritizing its workers. The public gets expensive new facilities. The workers get bad offers and threats. We're an important part of the Port Authority. Treat us that way. Renew our contract. Thank you.
Thank you. Sean Mayo? Sean?
Good afternoon. Thank you all for your time. My colleagues covered mostly what I was going to cover already. But I do have to say, I do appreciate your words before and your words at Town Hall. And I do feel like we are moving somewhere. And it is appreciated. I mean, I never thought when I started here that we would have to go through anything like this. I thought it was pretty much clear cut. This is what it is. That's it. I didn't think I was going to have to do informational pickets and come to board meetings. And I mean, I know we're taking up time having to do this. I know a lot of people don't want to hear about it. And believe me, we don't want to be here having to do this. Like you said, we don't want to fight. I love my job. I'm very good at my job. I'm very proud to see the things that I do there. When we did our informational picket, the passengers were very happy with everything. They were happy with everything that you planned out. We executed. This place has changed a lot in the last 14 years that I've been here. One thing I want to bring up is, everybody keeps talking about the Port Authority path. Like I had mentioned back in December, we were always told, pretty much, well, they're here, you're here, this is what they get, this is what you get. And I see how you guys are trying to merge everything and keep everybody on an even scale. And I appreciate that. We do get held to a higher standard. A lot of people out in the public, they always say, union workers are overpaid, and people don't know. They don't see what we see. They don't do what we do. We're held to a higher standard. We have a zero tolerance drug policy. We come in, I sign in, let's go. You're going for a breathalyzer and a urine screening right now. Doesn't matter if I did it that day or 2 weeks before. There's a zero tolerance. I'm held to a higher standard, and I'm fine with that. But I would like to be treated as such also. What I do outside, even when I'm not in my PATH uniform, reflects on PATH and the Port Authority. And I keep that in mind when I'm out about with my business, my family. There's not repercussions for a lot of people when something happens out in public. If they get into a dispute, a fight, anything like that. Not that I ever want to, but if it does, that reflects on us, and I could be disciplined as such also. So I just want you to keep that in mind also. We are held to a higher standard, and we stick to that. For the most, all of us, we're proud. We represent our company. We do it proudly, and I want to thank you for your time, and I hope that we can come to an agreement soon.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank
Appreciate it. Rudolph? Rudolph Emerly?
Good afternoon, Chairman, Commissioners. I'm also a member of the PAT workforce in the electrical department, and I've never thought that a day will come when I would have to pick it or to attend a board meeting when it comes to negotiating my contract of agreement and my terms and conditions of employment. But yet here I am. I would like to point your attention to the mission and the vision of Port Authority and ask you to look at it and see where you're living up to those things when it comes to the contract of agreement that has been outstanding for approaching a decade with the PAD employees. All right? We talk about customer service. Your employees are supposed to be your first customers. Right? Where are you giving them an exceptional experience as stated in your values and mission? All right? We talk about being an employer of choice. Can we be an employer of choice if we're going to have a contract outstanding for 10 years? Do we expect employees to be engaged and committed at this rate? When we ask the average employee where they work or what do they do for PAT, will they say, I helped move the region? Or will they just say, I work for PAT as an electrician or a power railman? Because they don't see themselves being a part of the bigger mission of this company. I just want to ask you to take a look in the mirror and see where you stand in terms of having this contract resolved, and let's go forward in a spirit of collaboration and cooperation rather than the bullyism and fear tactics that is being portrayed by the negotiator at this point in time. That's not the way we get the best results. We have to operate in a spirit of mutual trust, transparency, and let our integrity stand first. That's all.
Thank you. Thomas Degnan?